Welcome, everyone. Today's topic is most effective solution in finding profitable rental markets. Okay, so before we get started, do you know what a profitable rental market is? Who can describe what a profitable rental market is in the Chicagoland area or suburbs? What does that mean for you, and why is that important? Anybody? Who can take a stab at it? Stan, Rob, Joe, Jeff, anybody?
Market where you can get the most rent for the least amount of money per door.
Exactly. Thank you, Rob. So that's a profitable market where you can command top rents, but yet it's in an affordable neighborhood. So having said that, let's focus on the top rental markets based on that. Okay, so as Rob said, we have number one, affordability. Affordable, and number two, rents are super high. So we're talking about over $1,500 per month in rent. And then affordable, what do we mean by affordable? Affordable, we mean less than purchase price, less than 150,000. Okay. So how do we go about finding those markets? And that is very critical. And that's one of the biggest mistakes investors make, not being able to understand the markets they want to invest in like the back of their hand. Because that happened to us a few years ago where we wanted to do a flip on a rental market. We couldn't sell the property. We ended up keeping it for a rental and ended up not cash flowing. And the other way applies. If you want to do a flip on a rental market, then you're going to have that property sit on the market for quite some time. Okay. So having said that, let's just give a quick overview on top rental markets. Right now, due to the shortage of inventory and having the courts open, there are going to be thousands and thousands of people being dismissed from their homes. Okay, so they will need to find a place to live, and these people are either filing for bankruptcy or they are in foreclosure. Okay, over 500,000 families, people that are being displaced. So where are they going to end up? In a rental market. Okay, so now that means that for those of you who are considering building a rental portfolio, 2022 is going to be one of the best and strongest years for getting into rentals. Okay, why? Because rents are going to go up in 2022 anywhere between 5 to 10%. So it's going to be a huge hike on the rental market. Now, your job is to identify where those markets are. So now, what is it that you need to find out about a strong rental market, and why are rents strong in a given neighborhood or suburb or area? What drives rental market up is the infrastructure of the area. So you need to pay attention at schools, employment, and overall safety. Okay, those are going to be the three main driving factors for a strong rental market. So any market that has strong rentals is going to have great employment, great schools, or at least average to good schools. So the school rating goes from 1 all the way to 10, 10 being the best. So the top rental markets are going to have anywhere between 6 and up, okay, grading on the schools. And as far as crime is going to be low, okay, so there are safe, great infrastructure, amenities, good schools, and great employment sources. That's what's going to drive people into a neighborhood, okay? And you've got to capitalize on that. Also, you need to understand what asset types you need to invest in because you have many options, right? You can invest in single family homes, condos, townhomes, and multi-units. So when you're looking into rental markets, what's going to be the best and most profitable and yet affordable asset type for you to look into? Uh, Multi-unit, 2 to 4. Nothing is going to beat multi-unit, 2 to 4 when it comes to cash flow. Okay, why? Because you're going to end up paying less money per door when you buy anywhere between 2 to 4 units. Okay, that's number one. The second best asset type is going to be a single family home. Okay, because people want to have that pride of ownership and having space for the family. And the best third asset type is going to be condos, townhomes, duplexes, so attached properties. But there's an exception. If you are in a neighborhood that is categorized as very desirable, like an A neighborhood, such as Buffalo Grove, Glenview, okay, you won't be able to afford a single family home for less than 200,000. But yet, there are very strong rental markets. So how do you approach those asset types? Which asset types should you focus on? Very simple. Then you're going to need to focus on condos, townhomes, and duplexes on A neighborhoods because they're going to be the most affordable. They're going to be under 200,000, and yet the rents are going to be extremely high. 16, 1700 for a 2 bedroom, 1 bath in A plus neighborhoods. So not only are you getting into a great neighborhood, but the cash flow is going to be great. Now, something to keep in mind if you invest in condos, townhomes, duplexes, is association, okay? Because they can change association bylaws. One day they will allow rentals, another day they may not. Okay, so that's something just to be aware of. Plus, they can apply special assessments. If they have a big project on the building, then they're just going to apply a special assessment on your unit. So that's something to be aware of. Now, where can you find these top rental markets? So this is what we've done. We've analyzed over 300 markets, and the key is to identify the markets based on the area type. So we have A, B, C, D. So A being the most expensive, B is the most affordable for the value, and C, it's a little bit more of a challenging neighborhood. Okay, but still you can get great rentals in C plus neighborhoods. And finally, you have D, or the most distressed neighborhoods. Okay, in here, you really need to be cautious, right? Because then the infrastructure is distressed. Crime might be high. Uh, Schools may not be the best, even though you may collect good rents. You may have a tough time finding collectible tenants. Okay, so that's something just to keep in mind. Now, which area type should you focus on? Okay, A, B, or C? Okay, we highly recommend that you focus on anywhere between C plus, B minus, B plus, and A minus. So you have pretty much 4 categories that you can focus on. So C plus, B minus, B plus, A minus. Why? Because those areas are going to have a fairly stable infrastructure, okay, where you have good employment, relatively good schools, and there are relatively safe neighborhoods, okay? And above all, you're gonna find affordability, okay? So less than $200,000. Obviously, you want to aim to buy, if possible, multi-unit. However, when you end up buying multi-units below 200,000, oftentimes they're going to require a lot of work, okay, over 75,000 in rehab. So that's something to be aware of. If not, if you are not able to buy a reasonable property or multi-unit where the rehab is going to be less than 75,000 for at least a 2 unit, then you can downgrade to a single family home. That's the best second asset type. And again, the key is for you to focus on properties that are less than 150,000, and also the rehab is going to be critical, right? So you want to stay anywhere between $50,000-$60,000 tops, okay, for the rehab. Anytime you spend or you go over $60,000, that means that you're touching too many systems, right? You're increasing your risk, and that's not where the money is, because you're gonna increase your risk and minimize your return. Okay, so that's something that you must be aware of. You want to focus on properties where the rehab is light to medium. Okay, we highly advise that you stay away from gut rehabs because they just take too long, 3, 4, 5, 6 months, because you need to deal with all kinds of contractors, plumbers, electricians, HVAC. You need to pull all kinds of permits and have all kinds of inspections from the village, rough inspections, finish inspections, building inspections, all kinds of inspections that will delay the project. And not only that, but that will increase the rehab budget. So make sure that you take on projects where you're gonna stay below 50, 60,000. That's gonna be the sweet spot, okay? So having said that, what is it that you need to look at? So we came up with a livability score, and that's what's driving our area types. So any area type that is over, so if I sort the area types by, let's say B, okay, you're gonna see right here that livability score. I'm gonna sort these by the score. It's going to be anywhere in the 50, anywhere between 50 all the way to, no, this is in the, let me sort this out again. I just want the B neighborhoods. Okay, so B neighborhoods for rental. Let me put cash flow. Okay, so here it's going to give us all the top rental markets in the B category. Okay, so the livability score is going to be anywhere between 60 all the way to 70. Okay, that's going to determine the B category. Now, as Rob said earlier, these neighborhoods are going to have great rental income for the price. So what I like to do is I want to sort these by rental income. Okay, rental income, and then the second factor that we want to sort this is by purchase price. Okay, so we have the sweet spot to buy, detached. This is the column. So if we scroll down the list, we're gonna look into properties where the purchase price is going to be anywhere between 100 to 150. That's gonna be the sweet spot. Because when you are in a B neighborhood, okay, and the purchase price is less than 100,000, guess what? Those properties are going to be most likely gut rehabs, okay? So you rather pay a little bit more, stay within the 100 to 150,000, but do a lighter rehab, okay? So you want to stay within like 100, 105, 116, 147, 149. So what are these neighborhoods? You have South Holland. I'm going to start with, yeah, South Holland, Richton Park, Lyons, Round Lake Beach, Allsip, Berkeley, Hillside, Carpentersville. So these are some of the strongest rental markets today, okay? Because they are affordable. And if we look at the median rental income for a 3-bedroom, the rents go anywhere. So I'm going to pick obviously the top rental markets. So in this case, Lyons, over 1,500. The second best is Allsip, 1,800. Berkeley, 2,100. Hillside, 1,950. These are for 3 bedrooms, okay? So it's very important to look at those two combinations. What the rental median is for a 3-bedroom versus its price. Now, something that you need to keep in mind when analyzing rentals
Hey, Hugo, are
is
you
that,
needing to share your screen?
oh, yes, I'm sorry, Rob. Thank you. Okay, thank you, Rob. So I'm just sharing my screen right now. So what I did is in ChicagoDealVault, I went to area reports. I sort by B category and then cash flow. Cash flow is right here, all the rentals. So we have two columns that I want to focus on. Is the last column. This is the medium rental income for a 3-bedroom. Okay, and then right here is a sweet spot to buy detached. That's single family home. I'm going to make this column bigger. Okay, so this is the combination that you need to look at, as Rob said: purchase price versus rental income. And most importantly, I'm going to give you the $1,000,000 advice. Always look at the rule of thumb of the 1%. So what does that mean? What it means is that if you're buying a property, okay, where you spent 100,000 and then you're putting 50,000 for the rehab, so all in is 150,000. Guess what? The 1% of 150,000 is 1,500. That should be your target rent for that particular property. So it's the rule of 1%. When you meet that criteria, your cash flow will be at least $250 per month. So not only will the tenant be paying for all the utilities, if this is a single family home, meaning all the operating expenses, gas, electric, water, lawn care, snow removal, you also pay for your taxes and insurance, and the debt service, principal and interest. And on top of it, you're going to cash flow $250. I mean, it's amazing. That formula works incredibly well. So take the purchase price plus rehab, and then take the 1%. So if the rent is greater than that, thumbs up. So let me give you an example. About 2 weeks ago, we purchased a property in Dalton. Okay, so the purchase price was 55,000. The rehab is going to be about, I would say 30,000. So all in is 85,000. Okay, so this is purchase, rehab. So what's 1% of 85,000? It's $850 per month. Well, guess what? The rental market for a 2-bedroom in Dalton is $1,450. So can you imagine what the cash flow on this property is going to be? It's going to be hitting 450, 500 per month. Okay. So when you analyze the all-in expense of the purchase price rehab, take the 1% of that, and if this is way less than what the 1% is, that means that you bought it for the right price and you put in the right amount of money for the rehab. So this will be an incredibly amazing cash flowing property. Okay, so the rule of the 1%. Now, the question is, what type of market is Dalton, right? So all I'm going to do is I'm going to type in Dalton and then search. So Dalton has a livability score of 61. So it's a C plus neighborhood, okay? It's in the borderline between a C plus, B minus. And be mindful that there are some pockets in every neighborhood. That includes suburbs. So when you look at properties, you need to understand pockets, because there are going to be some pockets where the rents are going to be a lot less, okay? So how do you find the rents? There are two places where you can find the rents, either in ChicagoDealVault, or there are other two websites, rentometer.com. That gives you the overall median rental market for all the properties of a given size. Let's say a 3-bedroom in Dalton will rent for, let's say, $1,350. So I can show you that, Rentometer. And the second best website at the property level is Zillow. Zillow is very accurate when it comes to rentals at the property level. So all you need to do is put in the address right here. So 14222 Champlain. Okay, Dalton. So if I do a search on this property, okay, number of bedrooms, it's a 2-bedroom. This is 1 bath. Okay, so analyze. Boom. So this is at the overall neighborhood level. Okay. So in this case, this is showing you that 2 bedrooms in Dalton are going to be anywhere between 1,000. The 75 percentile is 1,200. Okay, so this is the overall in Dalton. But when you look at Zillow, let's find out what Zillow has for this particular property. Okay, so we search the property, and then let's go to Zillow. Okay, so let's see if Zillow has a rental estimate. Sometimes it doesn't, but we recently did a CMA on this particular property for the rental market, and it's coming at 1,400 or so for a 2-bedroom. Okay, I'll show you these. Let me pull these in just a second to show you the rental market in Dalton. Okay. Okay, in fact, we had already done the analysis on it. Okay, so let me show you. I think I'm sharing my screen. Okay, you should be able to see my screen right now. Okay, so this is the sold price, and this is we were able to do it at the property level on this property, 14922 Champlain Avenue. So the median is 1,450, okay, for a 2-bedroom, 1-bath in this particular location, on this particular street. Okay, so this screenshot is from Rentometer at the property level. So 1,450. So you can use these in case Zillow doesn't have the answer. That's how you can find out what the rental market is at the property level. Okay, so the other report that I was showing you, this happens to be the comparables for sale. So these properties were worth about $110,000. So the ARV is 110,000, 110. So we will end up with about 25,000 in equity. Okay, $25,000, which is about 25 to 30% equity on this particular property. But something that you always need to focus is on the 1% rule of thumb. That works incredibly well for any rental market. Now, there are going to be 2 things that you need to keep in mind, and I'm going to put this with red marker. That could be a cash flow breaker. Okay, so one of them is going to be taxes. Okay, like for instance, Flossmoor, it has really high taxes. Park Forest, it has really high taxes. So like a 2-bedroom, 1-bath in Park Forest will have a real estate property tax bill of about $5,000 or more for a 2-bedroom, 1-bath. I mean, taxes are really high. So guess what? That's going to pretty much crush your cash flow. So taxes is one. Number 2, any rental caps established by the city, or they call them rental moratoriums. So there are many villages that put a rental cap on properties. What it means is that they want to preserve the ownership percentage level very high, over 90% ownership level, versus 10% rental. Okay, the reason why is because they realized that rentals put a lot of stress on the infrastructure. Most of the unpaid water bills are from tenants, not from owners. Most of the police calls are from tenants, not from owners. And the list goes on and on and on. So that is why villages, they want to control the ownership percentage on certain areas because they want to preserve the quality of the area. Examples of those are Country Club Hills, South Holland. They have a rental cap. For instance, South Holland has a 10% rental cap. What it means is that out of 100 properties, they will only allow 10 properties to be rented out. And they determine that by street. Every street has a rental cap. Okay, so given the address, they can let you know if they can grant a rental license or not. So that's something that you always need to be aware of. Taxes and rental caps on villages, because they're going to crush your your rental income, or they may not allow rentals at all. So that's something that you need to be aware of. And remember, this is at the property level. There are some addresses, for instance, in South Holland that have not met the rental cap. So you can still buy rentals in South Holland because they've not met the rental cap on that particular block. So that's something that you need to check with the building department at the property level, okay? On South Holland, Country Club Hills, super important to be aware of. But always, when you analyze the neighborhood, you can come to ChicagoDealVault and find just the top rental markets, or you can do the rule of the 1%. Okay, remember, this is super, super important. It's going to be your purchase plus rehab, take 1% of that. If the rent meets that number, you're good. Obviously, if it's higher than that, it's going to cash flow incredibly well. Are there any questions so far on identifying rental markets? So what I'm going to share with all of you is, if you still don't have these, I'm going to share the top rental markets in the Chicagoland area and in the city. So we have right here two spreadsheets. I'm going to show or share the top rental markets, okay? So if you still don't have access to this spreadsheet, please let us know, and we will make this available to you. So here we have suburbs and Chicago. So in Chicago, we obviously analyze neighborhoods, okay? The top rental neighborhoods and the top rental suburbs. And this includes B, C, A neighborhoods. So if you're thinking about doing rentals, this is the list that you have to go off of, okay? So if you're gonna set up your search criteria for a rental, you've got to focus on these particular neighborhoods, because you are going to maximize your profit on the rentals, okay? And yet, you enter an affordable market. Okay, so you don't need to break your head, think, create, do any research. All you need to do is just look at the spreadsheet, look at the neighborhoods, look at the statistics. So when we give you the statistics, we will include the livability score. Remember, B neighborhoods are 68 and above, but less than 75. Okay, once you get into the 75 and up, you're entering the A neighborhoods. So it's a 10-point difference between each category. So B is from 70 all the way to 75 or so, 68 to 75. And then above 75, it's A minus, okay? So here we're gonna give you a summary of the infrastructure, like for instance, education. This has to do with schools, cost of living, amenities, employment. This is going to be very, very critical, right? Median income, for people living in this particular area. And most importantly, we're going to highlight the median sales price for 3-bedroom, 1-bath, 3-bedroom, 2-bath. Okay. And then we're going to also highlight the rental income. So these are the two columns that we like to look at. Okay. So purchase price in Berkeley, 157, yet the rents are over 2,000. Obviously, there's going to be a challenge finding properties in these neighborhoods because of the same reason, right? Investors are looking to buy rentals in these particular neighborhoods because they will maximize their return on investment. So yeah, we'll make this available if you don't have this one, because that's just going to simplify your investment pattern. So what we've done is our backend team is pretty much scanning not only all the top rental markets, but also all the top flipping markets, okay? We have set up searches. Dealmaker. I'm super excited to have you as part of the team and make you more successful today. So we have been given access to 3 of our courses, the Deal Makers, Wholesale's Inner Circle, and CASHFLOW Inner Circle. Please make sure that you go over every single one of them. You're going to need to take 5 steps today. Number 1, please fill out the profiling form, which is going to help us put you in the right team. The left, capital partners. The right, we call it here. People with time. We want to help facilitate partnerships. For that to happen, we need to understand everything that you bring to the table. And do you guys hear a video in the background? We want to make sure that you reach out to every single one of your peer deal makers. Hey, Richard, please reach out to. Can you hear my video running in the background or not? Or it's just my computer? We're collecting a pool of contractors from electricians, plumbers, HVAC. We're going to be further vetting every single one of them. So when you have a deal on the contract, we're going to have written estimates for you even before you close on the deal. Number 5, join. Hey, Rob, are you able to hear the video in the background or not? And finally, fill out the form by Albica Financial. I sure can. Preferred. I don't know where it's. Let me try to. Harmony lenders and private funding. This is going to help you line up funding for your deals and get a proof of funds. I look forward to making you more successful, and I'm super excited that you are part of the deal makers. Okay, yeah, I was able to stop that. Okay, so let's just quickly summarize, right? We want to make sure, this is what we're doing, right? I was telling you that we're scanning the top flipping and rental markets, the spreadsheet that I show you, and we are pretty much finding the spreads, okay, that I was mentioning earlier. When we analyze the deals for within the top rental markets, we want to make sure that you end up with a big enough spread for them to be deals. And that spread typically is anywhere between 75,000 and up, okay, where the rehab is less than 50,000. So from the purchase price, you're going to need to add about 75,000. So if you buy the property for 100, the ARV should be 175 and up, and the rehab should be less than 50. So that's the criteria we are trying to identify deals that are currently on the MLS or obviously off market, okay? Having that spread on top rental markets, okay? And we also look at the 1% rule of thumb. Are there any questions so far?
Hi, Igor.
Hey, Eric. Hey, Sam.
Is there anybody to check to see if you have a rental license? I mean, it's like doing the remodeling without getting the permit, right? I mean, there's no way that they know how many units are rented in that subdivision or in that town?
Right. So it's at the property level. So you need to call the village and find out for that given address if they will grandfather a rental license when you buy the property. Because many properties may have a rental license, but if you end up buying them, they won't. If the rental cap has been met, they won't grandfather the rental license. So that's something that you need to check at the property level with the village. Okay, so that is important, but the village is the only one who can tell you. Not only if there's an active rental license on the property, but if they will grandfather a rental license should you buy the property.
Yes. Thank you.
Oh, no problem, Sam. Are there any other questions on rental markets?
Hey, Hugo, this is Shirley. Hey, I want to check, besides Country Club Hill and South Holland you mentioned, are there any other village has the rental cap like that?
Those are the two that come to mind. I believe there's a third one, but I can get back to you on that third one. Let
All
me
right,
see.
thank you.
Yes, yeah, because I believe there's a third one that has a rental cap, and we just need to check at the property level once you have a property in mind. But yeah, that's something that villages are now enforcing this new ordinance of a rental cap. Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Oh, thank you, Shirley, for joining.
Hey, Hugo, this is Rudy. On the spreadsheet that you showed us with all the information about the particular neighborhoods or
Yes.
villages, is there a way where you can add an extra tab there with all the information for each village in that area?
Yeah,
With,
absolutely.
that way we can, when we look at it, we can access it, it'll have the information for the phone number or email address or what, it'll speed things up for us.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, we can make a note if there's a rental moratorium on a given neighborhood. Absolutely.
Yeah, that way, before we even submit any kind of offers, we can give them a call immediately because sometimes it takes time for them to get back to you.
Of course.
Thank you.
No, that's a great point. Thank you, Rudy. Anybody else? Patrick, Rich, Marlon, Larry, Joel, Eric? Rich is saying, please let it not be in Markham. Absolutely, right?
Yeah, I just have a question. So this is Marlon. I just have a question. So
Yes.
if people wanted to get information about where the properties are and the location and the grade and the taxes, then we have to go through Chicago DealVault.com, and they would just apply you with all the info about the properties and with the
Absolutely.
taxes and stuff like that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, we'll give you the tax information, everything. Yeah.
Okay.
Do you have access to the website?
No, I don't.
Okay, so yeah, we can give you free access so that you can check it out
Okay.
for at least 30 days. So do me a favor, can you please send an email to support@ChicagoDealVault.com, and they are going to send you the instructions on how to sign up for a 30-day free trial.
Okay. Support@ChicagoDealVault.com.
Yes, and then we'll
Okay.
have the top rental markets in there
Mm.
and much more information. You can even search the MLS through here. You can pull comps, so it's extremely powerful.
Okay. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
Oh, no problem, Marlon. Anybody else? Any other questions? So let's just quickly summarize what you need to focus on. So top rental markets are the ones that will have over $1,500 per month in rent, and the sweet spot to buy these properties are less than 150,000, and ideally you focus on either 2 to 4 flat or single family homes. Okay, now to analyze very quickly if it's a great rental property, then take the purchase price plus the rehab, okay, and then 1% of that. If the rent is greater than 1%, then you're going to be cash flowing over 200 per month. So it is very important, if you're going to focus on rentals, to start looking into the top rental markets, because you're going to maximize your rental return. And be aware of taxes. That's obviously per property, and check if they have exemptions, right? Because it might be misleading. Some properties may have a senior exemption or homeowners exemption, so the taxes may be low, but you are in a village where the taxes are high, like Park Forest, Flossmoor, Country Club Hills. They're like highly taxed, okay? And obviously the rental moratoriums or rental caps. Country Club Hills, South Holland, and this is at the property level, okay? Find out if they will grandfather a rental license should you buy the property. So those are the key points for you to understand. It's super simple, but again, I don't want you to break your head. We already identified the top rental markets, so we want to share those with you so that you focus your search on the areas that will maximize your return, okay? And when you look at max allowable offers, meaning the most you should pay on these properties, very simple. Take the purchase price, okay, and add about $75,000 and up to the purchase price, and that should be your ARV. So if you buy it for 100, add 75, so 175. At least that should be your after repair value, and your rehab should be always less than 55,000. Okay, that will also make it a great deal. Let me see any other questions. If you can truly see your rehab costs are going to artificially explode, yeah, absolutely. That's that's been our case. So rehab expenses have gone up by 30%. So if before we spent 30,000, now it's going to be 40,000. So yeah, that has been happening for the last 7 to 8 months. Okay, rehabbing has gone through the roof. Even now, a light rehab is going to hit 25,000, 25,000 just for a light rehab. Medium rehabs are going to hit 40, 50,000, and that's where we like to stay. Medium rehabs. Stay away from gut rehabs because they can take too long and they could be extremely expensive. Okay, so please let us know if you don't have access to DealVault, or if you still don't have the top rental markets. We're going to make them available for free to all of you. And keep in mind, 1% of rule, over 1,500 in rentals, and purchase price below 150,000. So yes, Joel, the 1% applies to all asset types, multi-unit, single-family homes, and to all areas. It could be A, B, C, okay, even D. It applies to all neighborhoods. It works amazing. The 1% rule of thumb. Purchase plus rehab, and take the 1%. So that should be your target rent. To find out what the rental market is like, use Rentometer or Zillow at the property level. Rentometer is more at the area level. It gives you median numbers, whereas Zillow gives you precise rental prices at the property level, although sometimes you don't find those in Zillow. Okay, so thank you everyone for joining. If you don't have any further questions, and I don't see you before the holidays, have a wonderful holiday. Safe return and safe trips, and have a very healthy, happy holiday with your family and loved ones. So thank you everyone for joining. We'll make sure that we send out the replay. I'll remain on the line for the next couple of minutes if you have any questions.